Let yourself feel heavy and held by the space surrounding you in all of this moment. The eyes rest in their orbits. The jaw is slack back by the ears. Scan your awareness throughout. Just notice how you feel. What is the energy or tone throughout the system? Are there any individual sensations that are showing up? Maybe a pinpoint or a region. Are there areas in the body that are asking for more attention or awareness? As you notice the energy, individual sensations, also notice the feeling of the breath moving in and throughout, back out of the system. What's the feeling of the breath? Maybe there's an energy or tone to the way that you're breathing. What do you notice? In a moment, we're going to explore a breathing practice for this meditation. For this practice, it can be helpful to have one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. And for some bodies that have a tighter low back, it can be helpful to bend the knees. That's also an option, letting the feet come to standing. Over the next several breaths, start to breathe into the hand over the belly. Feel that hand rise and fall with the breath. The goal is to breathe deeper down, lower down into the belly button, below the belly button, all the way down to the pelvic fold. And the hand over the chest should move as little as possible. Explore the feeling of breathing into the low belly, deep diaphragmatic breathing. As you breathe in this way, deep belly and deep diaphragmatic breathing, The diaphragm is a horizontal balloon-like muscle. This structure runs along the bottom of the rib cage. And each time you inhale, it's meant to draw down, to open the lungs and draw the breath into them. And each time you breathe out, that diaphragm goes up and pushes the breath out of the lungs. Notice if you can visualize that as you breathe. To add another layer, the pelvic floor is an analogous structure to the diaphragm. It is a horizontal balloon-like set of muscles that runs from the frontal hip bones to the sacroiliac SI joints in the back, those little dimples in the low back at the top of the hips. And as you breathe in, it's meant to draw down towards the root, just like the diaphragm, to draw the belly open for more space for that breath. And as you breathe out, the pelvic floor draws up and in, almost like a Kegel-type maneuver, but less active. And that activation lightly of the pelvic floor and diaphragm together pushes the air out of the system. Can you visualize about parallel horizontal structures coordinating those breathing cycles? As you breathe in, the hand over the belly, the diaphragm and pelvic floor relax and draw down and open. And as you exhale, the diaphragm and pelvic floor gently draw up, lightly up. Just a few more breaths in this way. Notice how it feels to breathe in this way, to connect with that cylinder of coordinated breath, pelvic floor, core mechanism. Bring this awareness and connection into your movement practice. As you feel ready, start to invite some movement back into the body. Maybe you wiggle, reach, bend, or stretch in any way. And if the knees are not bent already, walk the feet towards the body, then draw those bent knees up to the chest and give them a squeeze. Deep squeeze the knees towards the body, pressing into that knee hinge, hip hinge. You press into the deepest range of motion there, deepest flexion. Hang on to the left knee, slide the right leg long down to the mat. Slow, coordinated movements with smooth breathing as you inhale. Switch between sides. Exhale into deep squeezing one knee and lengthening the leg. Keep moving with the breath. Last one on each side, finishing with the right knee up or your second side. And both knees bent up to the chest, give them a squeeze. Bring each hand to each knee, and you're gonna make one big circle. Push the knees around to one side, up to the top, to the second side, and back towards you. Going to 5 circles in each direction. Try not to rush them. You want to feel the motion from moment to moment throughout that circular arc. And switch directions. Remember, 5 each way. You should feel the low back tissues and hips starting to warm up with circulation and movement. And bring it to a pause at center. Lengthen the spine, hips parallel the shoulders. Give those knees another squeeze. With each hand on each knee, each side is going to make its own circle, so push the knees up to the sky. Each one goes around, wide to each side, then back towards the body, and then up the midline. Try to push into the corners of that circular range of motion in the hips. Might be more of an oblong or a rectangle. And switch directions. We're just doing 5 each way. This is a great one for massaging the range of motion at the ball and socket joint of the hip. But also exposing any asymmetries, right? Like, oh, that one doesn't move like the other one on this side. And isn't that interesting? Where is the tightness to be released? The area of opportunity. With the knees at a pause at the top, let the feet float down to the mat to standing. Walk the feet farther away from you so that your knees are in a long bend and your feet are still grounded to the floor. Step your feet wide to the sides of the mat. Give yourself plenty of room here for the legs to move. Slow and synchronized with the exhale, tip the knees down to the right, shifting your weight into the right hip. That left knee drops into internal rotation. And smooth breathing, inhale up to the top, and then to the second side with the breath out. Last one to each side, finishing with knees tipping to the left or your second side. And back to center. Walk the feet to standing so that the feet are grounded below the knees. Feet and knees, hips distance apart, parallel space between your legs. Now imagine
that there are knobs on the sides of your hips, your pelvis, and on the sides of your rib cage. Now the neutral spine position, and it's not like all the way to the end, right? But it's like, it's an opening, right? So we want to get the knobs on the rib cage turned up and towards your face so that your lower ribs are opened up towards the sky and there's an arch in your low back. With the hips, you want to have the knobs turned up and away from you. So the pubic bone is tipped towards your feet and the low belly is open. Think about the diaphragm and the pelvic floor and how on the inhale they relax and draw down. This is your inhale position. Now this movement is very small but very deep in activation. So as you exhale, you're going to close the knobs together. The pubic bone is going to come up to the belly button. The low ribs come down to the belly button. The sum of the motion is to scrunch and crunch the front of the belly and to flatten the low back. Now, if as you do this, you notice your chin juts to the sky, you get tension in your neck, a good option is to place your hands underneath your head just to give yourself a little bit reduced angle. So it'll take away the stress in the neck. Come back to the neutral spine position with the belly turned open. Take a breath in. On your exhale, flatten the back and crunch the belly. Let it be a strong exhale. It's okay to make some noise. Move with the breath. Think about the diaphragm and pelvic floor drawing up and pushing out as you exhale. Can you feel the pelvic floor get involved in this motion? It's not easy. Four more. Relax back to natural breathing. Now notice what showed up for you. It can be difficult to feel the pelvic floor draw up and through to coordinate with the breath cycle. And for some of us that don't have those coordination patterns yet, or the core is still recovering or finding connection, you might find that you are pushing with the glutes or pushing with the legs to get that tilt in the pelvis, right? So nothing's bad or good, we're just building awareness in where those patterns are and how we can build more connection and awareness to where we want them to go. Lift the legs up so that the feet are parallel, low legs are parallel to the floor. You want your knees at a right angle and your hips at a right angle. So that means if your knees are too close to you, you're going to feel your low back flatten to the mat. With the knees a little farther away, you should feel that neutral curve in your spine, little arch in your back. Now, if you find your belly is pushing out when you exhale, right? Is anybody finding that their belly pushes out when they exhale, like domes or makes a little tent? Think about cinching at the waist and drawing up and through, like you're trying to block a sneeze, right? So think about that, blocking the sneeze, drawing up and in through the waistline. Bring the knees together, feet together, toes pointing to the sky. Again, if your chin juts to the sky or you feel tension in your neck, an option is to place your hands underneath your head. Now this is the inhale position. We have the neutral spine arched back. Take a breath in. On your exhale, slowly lower the legs down to the right. Only go as far as you can control it. Remember, the exhale is activated up and through with the pelvic floor and diaphragm cinching in at the waistline. Inhale, back up to the top. You should come back to the back of the hips, low back arched. Exhale to the second side. Inhale, back up to the top. Only go as far as you can control it. Keep toes lightly active, pointing to the sky. Mind those right angles in the legs. Last two to either side. Bring the knees to the chest, give them a squeeze, lengthen the low back, and relax the belly. Let go of the legs, but keep the knees bent, hanging over the body. Now for this next one, you have options with the arms. You can have them at your sides, wide to 45. Some people like to put their hands under their hips. Personally, for my body, I've never found that helpful, but you might like it. Try it that way if you want to. Or if you find that you get tension in the neck or your chin juts up to the sky, placing your hands underneath the head. Some days I like that and some days I don't need it, right? Every day is different, every yoga. So this next motion is turning the knobs of the hips towards you. So again, we don't want to push with the glutes or legs, and you don't want to kick, no kicking. Try not to kick. So we want to keep the legs as relaxed as possible, the heels hanging towards the glutes, the toes nice and soft and relaxed. And as you exhale, the core draws up and in from the pubic bone. The waistline cinches up and in to the spine. And you point your knees over your head, don't hit your face. Take a breath in to prepare. On your exhale, try to push the hips straight up to the sky. Can you slow it down? On the lowering. Think about that pelvic floor drawing up and in. Can you draw support from that? That's a really hard one here. Relax. Give those knees a hug. Let them fall wide to the sides of the rib cage. Keep your hips grounded as you bring your arms to the inner thighs. Lift up the low legs into happy baby. Think about the inhale. The diaphragm and the pelvic floor relaxing into opening, drawing down. Pelvic floor has been a hot topic with my patients this week in my practice, and I'm like, let's bring it into yoga. Let's talk about it some more. Because a lot of us are dealing with that. And if we're not yet, we should start thinking about it, right? So much of our low back health, hip health, knee health, digestive health has to do with this core and breathing and coordination pattern. Multiple systems can be dysregulated. Without that coordination and function. Slide the hands to the outsides of the legs. Straighten out the legs into a wide V. Reach long through the heels. Straighten out the knees one at a time. Maybe you walk out the legs, pushing to each side. And then reach long through both heels and flex and point at the feet and ankles. Make some circles. Then bend at the knees, let the heels fall towards the glutes. Bring the knees back together and give them a squeeze. Push the knees up to balanced over the hips. This time knees, hips distance apart so there's parallel space between your thighs. And you want that little curve in your low back coming back to the neutral spine. Open belly, but not overly arched, right? We don't want to be way to the end range, but just neutral. Balanced on the back of the hips. Lift up the low legs. So again, coming to that right angle position. Can you find the right angle in the hips, the right angle in the knees and ankles? So the feet are lightly active, toes are flexed pointing to the sky. Now, you can leave your arms at your sides. You can place them under your head. Or if you want more challenge, reach up to the sky with your palms facing each other. As you inhale, now this is going to be a little different because we're slightly bracing with the inhale. We're maintaining that neutral curve. But as you inhale, you're going to lengthen one leg to heel touch. And exhale, bring it back. Think about that coordination pattern with the breath. As you inhale, lengthen. Diaphragm, pelvic floor open and relax. Exhale, they activate up and in. Think about that bracing through the waistline as well. How do you cinch around the midline? Keep the belly from bowing up to the sky as you exhale. Think about it drawing up and in. Pelvic floor up and in. Diaphragm up and in. What does that motion feel like? It's a description, but not all of us can find it right away, and that's okay. Keep the curiosity open. What does that feel like up and in through those three areas? Three more on each side. Give your knees a squeeze. Relax the low back, relax the hips. So your hands at either sides of the thighs, lift up the low legs and walk out the legs straight up to the sky, bending one knee at a time, pushing long through the heel. Reach long through both heels and flex your toes, pulling back to your nose. Squeeze your knees, pulling your kneecaps up to your hips. Reach your heels to the sky. And reach your hands way up high to the sky. Now you want your fingers pointing to in front of your toes. So you don't want to be pointing up to your toes. You don't want to be rolling up or reaching for your ankles. You want to reach straight up for the sky in front of your toes so that you're lifting through your heart like there's a string from your heart to the ceiling and it's going straight up. Now the mechanism comes from the knobs on the sides of the rib cage. They're going to turn the front of the low ribs down and in through the front of the ribs. So that rotation in the rib cage lifts your shoulder blades off of the mat, but keep your head and neck in line with the spine. Don't be rolling up or jerking your head and neck to get that motion in your core. Remember the coordination pattern with the breathing. Pelvic floor and diaphragm draw up and in. Cinching through the waistline draws up and in to facilitate that motion. So hands reach to the sky, take a breath in. On your exhale, lift your heart straight up. Crunch the belly. Can you feel the pelvic floor activate in this position? Another tough one. Just 100 more, we're almost done. No brunch plans today, right? 5 more. Bend at the knees, give them a squeeze. Let your feet float down to the mat. Now, in a moment, we're going to turn over onto our bellies. But if you are facing toward, like your head's towards the wall, if you want to flip around, you can. But just know that we're going to switch directions, so it won't matter that much. All right, take gentle care, turn over onto your side and onto your belly. All right, we're going to do a little active stretch here, dynamic active stretch called seal pose. So for this one, you want to think about activating through the shoulders. You really want to think of these side muscles through the sides of the shoulder blades and into the sides of the rib cage, cinching down and in, okay, down and in. So to start, you're going to make an L with both of your hands. So fingers together and then thumbs pointed out. And then turn all your fingers out to the side so your thumbs are pointing forward. Ground your hands wider than your shoulders. So you place your elbows at about shoulders distance a little wider and then place your hands a little wider than that. Push into your hands and draw your shoulders down and onto the back body. Now here's the tricky part. As you push into your hands and draw those shoulders down and back, try to relax your low back. Try to relax your hips. Try to relax your toes. Try to relax everything that isn't activating the shoulders coming down and into your back. If it feels too crunchy in your low back, you can walk your hands a little bit away. If it's too much lift for you, right? Find the right angle. There's a slight bend in the elbows. They're not totally locked out in full extension. Keep activating through the shoulders. Think about the breath as you inhale. Can you feel the diaphragm and pelvic floor relax down and open? How about the belly relax down and open into the mat? 2 more breaths here. Keep activating where it supports you, drawing those shoulders down and onto the back body, cinching in through the sides of the rib cage, but relaxing everything else. Slowly lower down. Now for this next one, we're going to lift up just the head and shoulders again, and we're going to try to keep the lower body relaxed. This is about creating dynamic activation, but isolating where we want that activation, not over recruiting muscles that are holding tension that don't support you, right? So slide your arms out into like a Y shape with your body. Slide your arms out to a Y shape. Now on the next inhale, you're going to lift your head, heart, and hands. Glutes relaxed, low back relaxed, legs relaxed, toes relaxed. As you exhale, cinch your elbows back onto your back body. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. Keep your legs relaxed. Keep your feet down. Keep your glutes relaxed. Inhale, open back to the Y shape. Head and neck lifted. Exhale, squeeze those shoulders onto the back body. Try to touch your elbows. Try to keep your lower half relaxed. This is really difficult. We're unwinding primitive reflexes. Inhale, open back to the Y. Exhale, squeeze them back. Relax the glutes, relax the hips. This is very challenging in this position, I know. Where are you over recruiting? What doesn't support you here? Three more. Bring your arms down to hands together and lower your forehead onto your hands. Relax and breathe. Breathe into your back, breathe into the length of the spine, the expansion in the rib cage. Bring the legs together. Take a breath in to prepare. On your exhale, lift through the legs. Try to keep your upper body relaxed. Just lift through the glutes, lift through the thighs, lift through the calves, lift through the backs of the ankles. Can you feel yourself lift through the backs of the ankles? Keep lifting through the glutes. Can you relax everything else? Can you relax your back? Can you relax your shoulders, your face, your eyelashes, your ears? You're gonna lift one heel at a time, press up through one leg. Keep them up, keep both legs up, and then the other leg. Keep going. Don't let your thighs touch you if you can. Last one on each side. Relax it down. Breathe into your back, breathe into your low back, into the hips. Stack your forearms underneath you, lift your head and heart. Bring your forearms together so that they're parallel and touching, thumbs pointing to the sky, pinky sides of the forearms grounded. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up into a forearm plank. Open up and face me to the front. Bye. Now this is a great place to stay and breathe. And what are we thinking about here when we breathe? As you inhale, draw the diaphragm and pelvic floor and belly, relax and open. They relax down and open. And as you exhale, draw up and through. Can you feel the pelvic floor activate in this position? If you want more challenge, you can lift one leg. If you need less challenge, you can make a kickstand. If it's hurting your elbow, you don't have to do it. Keep breathing. Bring it back to center, lower back down. Turn onto your side and face the front. Now you can rest your ear on your hand or your bicep, whatever's more comfortable for you. Face the front, face the front. I'm just facing you. I just figured you want to watch yourself or watch me the other. Bend your base leg. Top arm is a kickstand, so we're nice and stable here. The idea is to not let your torso move. You want to stay nice and stable through the torso. Lift up the top leg to 45 degrees. Point your toes. We're going to bring it down in front. Up, down and back. Try not to roll. I know that's the hard part. You really want to lean away from that leg, right? That's 2. Part of this is having open space and available range of motion in the front of the hip, right? If there's tightness here, you really want to roll away to let it go back. So that's a good awareness to have, right? Ooh, I'm tighter in this hip in the front. My body wants to roll more on this side. So be sure to compare between the two sides. Last one here, going to 7. And bring it to a pause. Flex your ankle. Now you want to keep your toes pulled back towards you, and we're pushing long through the heel, drawing the kneecap up towards your hip. Stable body the whole time. Slow and controlled. Make some circles. See if you can get that circle to go back behind your body line without swaying your body. Oh yeah, there are those hip muscles. Ooh. Coordinated hips. Just going to 5 in each direction. Remember to switch. Pause at 45. Now, we're going to turn out. Externally rotate. Oh my goodness. So you want your inner thigh facing forward. Reach long through that heel. Ooh, ah. And we're going to make 5 in each direction. Again, the trick is to keep your body stable. Oh my goodness. How different is it? For me, one side is definitely more difficult than the other in this one. That is where my hitch and my limitation, my range of motion, I'm working. We're all working on something, and that's okay. Remember to switch direction and keep the turnout. Bring it to a pause, bend at the knee, tap the hip out. Ooh, ah. Good job, hip. Good job, body. Gotta tap out the lactic acid, draw new blood flow. Yeah. It's okay, we're allowed to. I feel like there's so many little things that we're like, we don't do, so like, oh, why would I do that? I'm so too cool for that. It's like, well, there are reasons. And who cares? That's socially acceptable. I'm always in deep squat in the grocery line. And people look at me funny, but I'm like, you just wish you had this range of motion. And you don't because you're not working on it. Push on to seated and flip around to the second side. Because it feels good. Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't see me. You know, I I go all different places. Sometimes I'm at Oliver's if it's like for the extras, but I try to shop at Grocery Outlet or like Trader Joe's. I don't know why I haven't been shopping at Trader Joe's my whole life. I love Trader Joe's. Bend your base, like we're going in reverse order, so we're kind of like mirroring what we just did in the reverse order. Straighten out your top leg. Okay, but we are going to go in the same order for these, so we're going to point our toes first. We're going to touch down, and up, and back. Good, going to step. Slow and controlled. Stable body. Make sure you're breathing. Oh, yeah. And back up to 45, flex at the ankle, and we're making some circles. Going to 5 in each direction. Push long through that heel. Keep the knee locked out, squeezing your kneecap up towards your hip. Try to get that circle to go back behind you. Stable body. And remember to switch. Because we're doing 2 different variations here, right? Bring it to a pause, keeping the leg flexed, externally rotate, and we're going to circle. Notice any differences between the 2 sides. When I do this one on one side, it feels like I'm going to fall backwards because my hip is limited in my range of motion in the front of the hip on that side. And then on the other side, it's like, oh, I can get here. 5 in each direction, remember to switch. Nothing's bad or good, but we have to remember our body does so many asymmetrical things every day. It's been through asymmetrical injuries throughout our life. And our fascia, the web network that holds everything in place, remembers every injury you've ever had. Bring it to a pause down in front and tap it out, tap it out. So we have to give it some love and exploration and how we can invite balance back into the body and support that process. Turn the belly down, stack your forearms. Pinkies grounded, thumbs pointing to the sky. Ground your elbows below your shoulders, tuck your toes, lift up. Open up to the front. Again, you have options here in the side plank, and if you have elbow, shoulder issues, this isn't right for you, feel free to do something else. We're just breathing here. We're staying and we're breathing. Remember the coordination pattern. Drawing down and open with the breath in. Up and through with the breath out. Think about the space between the ears and shoulder points. Long neck. Is there anywhere you're holding stress and tension that doesn't serve you? And bring it back to belly down. Slide your arms out to a walk. For the win. So you're going to keep the legs relaxed. Keep the lower body relaxed. As you exhale, you're going to activate the upper body. So next breath in, lift up. Head, heart, and arms.
And on the exhale, squeeze those elbows back, squeeze your shoulder blades. Inhale back to reaching out. Exhale into the retraction. Be mindful, where are you cinching in the sides of the rib cage? Can you relax in your toes, relax in your glutes, relax in your legs? Going to 10 here. Think about that breathing coordination. How can it support you? And relax back down. Hands come together, face down. Breathe into the back. Relaxed, open back body, long spine. Bring the feet together, legs together. On your next breath out, lift the legs. Try to get the thighs off of the mat. Squeeze through the glutes, squeeze through the hamstrings, the back of the thighs, backs of the calves, the backs of the ankles. How do you lift through the backs of the ankles? Not the heels, but the backs of the ankles. Keep the legs lifted, and you're going to walk one leg at a time. Lift one leg higher than the other. Last one on each side. And lower back down. Make an L shape with the hands. Turn all your fingers out to the sides, thumbs pointing forward. Place your elbows a little wider than shoulders distance, a little closer to you. And with the hands turned out, hands a little wider than the elbows, push into the floor to lift up the upper body. Activate what you need to cinch the shoulders down and back. Cinch the shoulders onto your back body and down the sides of your rib cage. And relax everything else. Relax in the low back, the hips, the toes, the ears. Think about the space between the shoulders and ears. The shoulder blades draw down and back. To relax everything else. Slowly lower back down. Take gentle care in turning over onto your side and then the back body. Bring those knees back to a bend, back up to the chest and give them a squeeze.
Let the knees fall wide to the sides, arms to the inner thighs, lift up the low legs into happy baby. Relax what you can. This should be effortless, as if your feet are falling towards the sky. Bless you. Slide the hands to the outsides of the knees, straighten out the legs to each side, then bend at the knees, heels fall towards the glutes. Give those knees one more hug, and let the limbs float down into any position that feels good right here, right now. Let the back body feel heavy and held. As you scan your awareness throughout the system, notice how you feel in comparison to when you got here. This practice is about making time and space to show up for yourself and explore the many practices that nourish all the layers of you. Invite gratitude into your heart for making this time and space to show up, connect with yourself, your movements, your breathing, your whole body. Let that gratitude and loving kindness carry you into your day and week and whole life. As you feel ready, maybe you reach, bend, or stretch in any way that's still calling to you. And when you're ready, support the body to come upright to We'll close the practice, bringing hands into prayer position in front of the heart. In our practice, we say Jai Bhagwan. It means the divine in me sees and honors the divine in you. I bow to all of you and say Jai Bhagwan. Thank you all so much for joining me and sharing your beautiful practice. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you. Happy Sunday. I'm going to be teaching some online classes this summer. I have a couple series. They're eligible for yoga teacher continuing education credits if anyone's certified, but they're also just like life enrichment courses, like if you want to know more about how yoga and fitness can serve your total health resources. I have a class coming up on that. That's going to be the first one rolling out soon. So if you're interested in knowing more, just come chat with me so I can get your email and make sure you get the information. Otherwise, I will see you next time. I won't be here next weekend. I have a continuing education event, but I will be back the following weekend, and I'll be here for my weekday classes. All right, thank you.